The classic movie monsters, Frankenstein's monster, the werewolf, Dracula, and the mummy, have become icons of horror cinema, with their origins rooted in early 20th century films. Here's a 5-minute history of these legendary creatures and the actors who brought them to life. Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula introduced the world to one of the most famous vampires, but it was Bela Lugosi's portrayal in the 1931 film adaptation that forever defined the image of Count Dracula in popular culture. Directed by Todd Browning, Dracula opened with Lugosi's eerie, aristocratic performance, emphasizing his hypnotic gaze, thick accent, and impeccable charm. Lugosi's Dracula was suave, sophisticated, yet terrifying, a vampire who could seduce his victims as easily as he drained their blood. The film was a massive success and propelled Lugosi to stardom, but it also typecast him in horror roles for the rest of his career. Nonetheless, Lugosi's Dracula became a template for future portrayals, with his cape and widow's peak still influencing how we envision vampires today. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was adapted for the big screen by Universal Pictures in 1931, forever linking the image of the lumbering, tragic monster with actor Boris Karloff. Directed by James Whale, Frankenstein is the story of Dr. Henry Frankenstein, who creates life from a patchwork of corpses, resulting in a misunderstood and tormented being. Karloff's portrayal of the monster, with its square head, bolts in the neck, and dead eyes, became an instant cultural icon. Karloff's monster wasn't just about brute strength, he also portrayed vulnerability, capturing the humanity of a creature who never asked to be born. The success of Frankenstein spawned numerous sequels, including Bride of Frankenstein, 1935, also starring Karloff, which solidified the monster's place in horror history. Following the success of Frankenstein, Universal sought another horror hit with The Mummy, 1932, starring Boris Karloff in another unforgettable role. Directed by Karl Freund, the film tells the story of Imhotep, an ancient Egyptian priest who is resurrected thousands of years after his death. Karloff's portrayal of the mummy is hauntingly eerie, especially in his initial appearance wrapped in decayed bandages. While Imhotep's mummy form is only briefly shown, the real terror lies in Karloff's ability to portray a man cursed with immortality and driven by obsessive love. His performance, coupled with the atmospheric direction and Egyptian mythology backdrop, made The Mummy another classic of the genre. While lycanthropy had been a theme in earlier films, the definitive werewolf film is The Wolf Man, 1941, starring Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Talbot, a man who becomes cursed to transform into a wolf during the full moon. Directed by George Wagner, the movie follows Talbot's tragic journey as he struggles with his uncontrollable transformations, often leading to the death of loved ones. Chaney Jr.'s portrayal of the tortured werewolf brought a depth of sadness to the character, making the Wolfman a sympathetic figure in the horror pantheon. Special effects artist Jack Pierce's groundbreaking makeup, which took hours to apply, created the iconic wolf-like appearance, influencing future portrayals of werewolves on screen. The actors behind these monsters, Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney Jr., and Bela Lugosi, became synonymous with horror. Karloff and Lugosi, in particular, had a lasting partnership, appearing together in films like The Black Cat, 1934, and The Raven, 1935. However, the typecasting that followed these actors also defined their careers. Karloff managed to find some versatility, while Lugosi struggled to break away from Dracula's shadow. Lon Chaney Jr. followed in his father's footsteps. Lon Chaney Sr. was a silent horror star, creating a tragic figure in The Wolf Man, a role he would reprise multiple times. These actors not only terrified audiences but also imbued their characters with a sense of pathos that has kept them relevant for nearly a century. Today, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolf Man, Dracula, and the Mummy remain symbols of classic horror, their legacy firmly rooted in the timeless performances of these legendary actors.